Hey everybody, we're here again. Hey, sorry, I just gotta fix some windows here. This is having the weirdest time ever fixing this up. But anyways, we are back for week 2 of the vlogcast, and I think that is pretty cool. I'm having a good time doing this. I got good responses last time. People seem to like it. Perfect. Okay, we are set. That's brilliant. Okay, so first of all, I think I should talk about Cookie Clicker. Just as kind of a, hey, check out what happened. I left the window open for a long time on accident, so I guess let's just buy a time machine, and then I'll just buy a bunch of upgrades, I guess. I don't know. Let's buy some crazy cookies. I know I got at least one comment of someone who was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know about Cookie Clicker." Now I do, and that's good. Cookie Clicker's a good time. Anyways, you can see that we just got like a ton of achievements. We are like rocking now. Awesome. Woo! Okay, we're set. We're good to go. This is working perfectly. I'm making like 1,380 cookies every time I click. That's pretty darn good, I would say. I'm pretty pleased with that. Anyways, I think that pretty much covers it though. That's the Cookie Clicker update. Ooh. Yeah, so let's jump in here. There's been a lot of news. So let's see where we want to start this off. Okay, so last week I know we talked about the rumored Sony E3 conference. It turns out there have been rumors for Nintendo as well as Microsoft. I'm sure all of these are fake, just saying. I think some of them may have already been debunked. So, as always, they are rumors. Take them with a grain of salt. Take them as you will. Anyways, I thought it'd be fun, since I talked in depth about Sony's last time, to talk about the other ones this time. Yeah, so I think the big thing is you gotta remember, like, Nintendo is not even doing a show floor thing at E3, so wherever these rumors are coming from, probably not a good source, because I can't imagine that they suddenly were able to not only find out what Microsoft and Sony will be doing, but apparently also what Nintendo's going to be doing at their very private, no one knows about it, Nintendo Direct. Anyways, let's jump in here. So, Microsoft's conference. Beyond Good and Evil 2 gameplay. Sure, maybe. DirectX 12, I guess. I don't know why they'd show that off there. Fable Legends. They do like to keep their Fable games going. I know the last one was not good though, or 3. I don't think people liked 3 either. Forza Horizon 2 seems a little early to already be having another Forza, but maybe. I don't know, maybe they're going to show it off for 2015. Gears of War 4, I think they will definitely show something Gears of War 4, because that is still their other big kind of franchise, so I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that happen. Halo 5, I also could definitely see Halo 5 being shown off. Connect TV and shows, I guess. I don't know. We're going to get to Connect pretty soon. Don't worry. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, yes, that will be on the Microsoft press show, for sure. Star Wars Battlefront 3, that's a big rumor. That is a huge rumor. I have not actually ever really gotten into the other Battlefront games. They're okay in my opinion, but I was always the kind of outlier with that opinion, just saying that they were okay. But I know people will go nuts if that's actually a real thing that they're doing. And then Titanfall DLC, which, sure, I don't see why not. Titanfall is the best-selling game of April, I think, so that's kind of a big deal. I wouldn't be surprised for them to do DLC. And then on their show floor, supposedly Dragon Age Inquisition, EA Sports UFC, Fable Legends again, FIFA 15, Forza Horizon 2, Killer Instinct, Madden NFL 15, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, NHL 15, Project Spark, Sunset Overdrive, Quantum Break. Only one or two of those I haven't even heard of. The rest seem like really safe things to say. So again, like last time, I'm just going to say sure. Those seem like really safe guesses as far as show filler stuff. This has a couple different things for the Sony one. Let's see. I guess the only different thing is that, well, the only notable thing is that it says Uncharted 4: The Sunken Blade tech demo. So this actually has a potential title. As far as I know, they have not given out a title yet. So if that's true, cool. I can dig it. That's a cool name, I guess. That's the only thing notable for that. And then the show floor is Alien Isolation, sure. Batman Arkham Knight, Destiny, Disgaea 4 for Vita. Drive Club, EverQuest Next. Yes, Hatsune Miku Project Diva F2nd for Vita. I'm definitely getting that. Looking forward to that. I love Hatsune Miku. Oh yeah. Lords of the Fallen, Natural Doctrine, PlanetSide 2, The Order, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Watch Dogs. Again, a lot of safe stuff that's already been announced. And then, oh, this is just for the Nintendo show floor. That's what's going on. Bayonetta 2, which was supposed to come out like February 2013, I think. So, sure. Castlevania Symphony of the Night 2. That is a big rumor. Like, if there's actually something out there that is going to make that happen, that's awesome. That's super cool. Because I think that could be really good for Castlevania, because I know there's been a couple of iffy games, and there hasn't been like a 2D Castlevania, at least not a very good one, for a while. So it'd be nice to have Symphony of the Night 2. That would be pretty slick. Hyrule Warriors, Mario Kart 8, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, Pokken Fighters, Sonic Boom, Super Smash Bros. U, Super Smash Bros. 3DS, Theatrhythm, I never know how to say that, Final Fantasy Curtain Call, Xenogears Origins, and The Legend of Zelda Shard of Nightmare for Wii U. Interesting. That would be cool. Again, seems a little crazy that they've got a title already. But again, very, very potentially just a rumor. I don't really have much else to say about that stuff. Again, it all seems like somewhat safe stuff. There's only a couple things in there that are like, whoa, if that's true, this could be a really cool E3. But, yeah, so that'll be that. Just thought for, for all fairness, since last time we talked about Sony's leaked thing. So anyways, another cool kind of article I found, this is going in a totally different direction, is with the new Call of Duty coming out, right? There has, of course, been brought up the question again of, is Call of Duty doing things different enough? And in my opinion, no. I haven't seen enough yet that really shows me it's going to be different from the last few Call of Duty games. But anyways, what they did was they asked a couple of indie devs what they would do if they got control over a Call of Duty game. And that's cool. I haven't read through these yet, actually, and the way I was going to pick was just going through the names that I know. So anyways, we're going to start with Dan Marshall from Size 5 Games. Of course, he worked on Been There, Dan That, among other games. And he said, I'd take some of the millions and billions of dollars it makes each year and hire a decent writer to craft something that isn't all hoo-ah dude bros and invest in some tech that makes it a more open, engaging experience rather than just a corridor shooting gallery. There's great scope for Call of Duty to do some real good for games. With its popularity, it'd be nice to see them capitalize on that. Knowing me, it'd turn into a point-and-click adventure. Yeah, that's Dan. I like that. This is cool. Hashtag Mike Bithell, who, of course, Thomas Was Alone, which is out on iPad now. Go check it out if you haven't played it. First of all, why? Thomas Was Alone is really good. But yeah, it's out on iPad now, so if you want it on the go, there you go. And also the upcoming volume. Let's see. He said, "I'd do a first-person war game from the perspective of a civilian, swept up in events, who doesn't pick up a gun, protecting your family, avoiding forces on both sides. It'd be an interesting and underrepresented perspective on a conflict." That's awesome. That's super cool. It actually reminds me of, there's a trailer, if you are curious, for 11-Bit Studios' new game called This War of Mine. Go check that out if that sounds interesting to you, because it looks like they are going in the direction of kind of way far away from the Call of Duty typical, like, you are the one true American hero and you're going to kill every terrorist alive, to more of like an actual soldier experience. And that's really cool to see. That's pretty exciting. Let me see if there are any other ones. Oh, cool. Brian Atkinson Jones from Ziotex, who did... what is it? It's Blastum. He did Blastum, and I believe his new game is... is it Containment Protocol? That might be the wrong name. It's on Greenlight. At some point, I will talk about that game. It's super cool. But anyways, wow, I have no idea what he's talking about there. Anyways, he says, UKIP has not only won the election, but has thrown the UK into a xenophobic state. Oh, this must be a UK person running right now or something like that. Turning the country into a closed dictatorship. All is not well, however, and civil war has broken out across the nation. The jackbooted Farage Stasi start clamping down hard on the insurgents using lethal force. You can play as an ex-SAS fighter, now part of the super elite Free UK Freedom Fighters, tasked with breaking into the highly fortified war fortress that used to be Whitehall and assassinating the UKIP overlord. Will that do? Is what he says. That's kind of cool. Definitely an interesting way of taking it, I guess. Kind of turning it into maybe something that's a little less realistic, because they seem to be going now for trying to make situations that could potentially happen, if not just actually mimicking real war situations. It would be nice to see maybe... Oh, golden cookie. I gotta get that. Got it. It would be nice to see kind of that taken in a different direction. Anyways, what else do we have? Okay, so this is Bennett Foddy, who made GURP and QWOP, as a lot of people know those games, I would suppose. They kind of started the whole Surgeon Simulator kind of craze before Surgeon Simulator. Anyways, so he says the player is a military contractor working as a remote operator of an unmanned drone aircraft. You begin your day by driving to work and sitting in a server room, watching a video screen and pressing a button to send commands to the drone. You get 10,000 points for blowing up an enemy militant or military hardware, but be careful, because you lose 1 point if you hit a civilian. I like that. Definitely getting into some interesting kind of politics there about that. And then maybe one more here. So we've got Adam Saltzman, who everyone probably knows from Cannibal, as well as Hundreds. So he says, Call of Duty war photographer. Players step into the shoes of veteran conflict documentarian Angela Espinoza, entering hot zones armed only with a mechanical film camera. Adjust the f-stop on the fly and swap lenses with the analog triggers and D-pad. Develop photos after each battle, selling them to player-run galleries and nudes agencies. I really like that. That's super cool. It sounds like he's had this idea. Like he's got a whole character in mind and everything. That's pretty great. So I think now we are going to move on to the prerequisite kind of Nintendo news. And I don't want this to be a doom and gloom kind of thing again. Anyways, I'm not going to really go into much about this article. Iwata, of course, everyone knows, very high up at Nintendo, says in an interview that a single title could save the Wii U. I don't believe he says what this title is, but apparently he thinks that there's a single title that may save the Wii U. That's interesting. I hope that to be true. That kind of segues nicely into the fact that Though it's not out for a couple more weeks, Mario Kart 8 reviews are coming in, and apparently it is awesome. Like, I think the worst review I've seen was like a 7 out of 10. It's pretty much getting 8s, 9s, or 10s across the board. Everyone's saying it's the same old Mario Kart, but better than ever. So that's cool. Nice to hear that Nintendo's got another good game coming out for the Wii U. Of course, the first-party games for Wii U is not really the issue. So, just something to keep in mind, I guess. The problem is when you look at the release schedule for Nintendo products, you rarely see something that isn't a first-party Nintendo game. But anyways, so that is that news. And then there's this article on Ars Technica that I thought I would go through, which was how we'd save Nintendo, which I think is interesting because I feel like a lot of people have these opinions of, if I was in charge of Nintendo, I'd save it like this. And I know I'm bad about that. Like, I've definitely done that a few times. But I think it's easy to do from our perspective. But we don't have, like, billions of dollars resting on our decisions, and we're not head of a company, so but I thought it'd be cool to go through. So let's see. Idea 1: exploit established franchises even more. Yes. If I was Nintendo this E3, I'd be announcing new Zelda for Wii U, new Mario Party for Wii U, new Mario game for Wii U in a 3D space, not just like 3D World, which was kind of 3D, 2D, but like full-on like Galaxy 64 Sunshine style Mario game. New Metroid. I'd be announcing a new Star Fox, a new F-Zero. Like, it just wouldn't end. It would be like, you know, all those franchises you love and you've missed? Boom. And on top of that, I'd announce Pokemon Wii U. Be like, here it is. Pokemon for the Wii U, Pokemon Stadium 3 Wii U, Pokemon Snap 2 Wii U, like all this stuff. I mean, it would be nuts. Of course, I understand that's probably not feasible, but I feel like they should do that. And I think they could get away with it. You know, it says like right here, I was just about to bring up this point. Activision published 21 games in the guitar/band/DJ Hero franchise in 4 years. 15 distinct Tony Hawk games in 13, and a new Call of Duty game every year. Like, yeah, everyone else does it. Nintendo needs to be doing it. Like, no one's gonna hate you, Nintendo. Just do it. I think if you do that, it'd be good for them. But anyway, so what's their second point? Find 5 more Shigeru Miyamotos. Yeah, that's a little less feasible because not everyone is Shigeru Miyamoto. That's the problem. If they had more of those really, really strong idea makers with them, I think that would be so good for them, though. Then it says, embrace mobile platforms and the internet. Yes, everyone else has something going on with mobile. Besides just the handhelds, and everyone now has great internet functionality, great internet systems in place, tons of benefit to hooking your system online. Like, I mean, I think about it, my PS4 is like practically the biggest thing I use Netflix on, it's the biggest thing I use Hulu on, Amazon Prime. Like, it's not just a game machine anymore, and I think that's what they need to realize. I know that Wii U can do some of that, but I don't think people are using it for that as much. And I feel like having that there could be really, really good. Let's see. Oops. I accidentally clicked on reader comments. I don't care what the readers think. No, that's not true. It's just joking. Now I wanted to go to page 2, though. See what else Ars Technica has to say about this. Idea 4, stop making hardware. Yes, I feel like that is like a really last-ditch effort, though. Because I don't think anyone really wants to see them go the way of Sega, where they stop making hardware and just move to making games. And I don't think it's realistically a possibility yet. I think they're going to give it a few more years. And then they've actually followed that up with Idea 5 saying make better hardware. That is true, yes. I think the problem, and this was a similar problem with the Wii, and I'm not saying they're bad systems. I own both of them currently, actually, but it's very obvious that they sacrificed some graphical, like priority for some kind of control gimmick. In the Wii, the case of the waggle controls. Yes, I will call them waggle controls. I never used them much more accurately than waggling. And with the Wii U, the gamepad, I feel like if you kind of cut those ideas and maybe made it focused more on like being able to compete graphically with the other systems, then they'd be in a much better place. But of course, again, that's totally just me saying from my outside perspective, like, oh, this is what you need to be doing. I don't know that that's true. There's no way of me knowing without like sitting down at one of their business meetings and taking a look at everything. I think that's, again, part of the problem, is that it's really easy from an outside perspective to say this is obviously what they should be doing, when it's never that clear cut. Anyways, that I think covers that topic. A lot of good ideas in there, a lot of stuff that I've been thinking about for a while anyways. And then I think that brings up a pretty good kind of segue into some things that Microsoft recently announced. First of all, they announced that, I believe they actually announced, I know it was rumored for a while, but I think they officially announced that you no longer will need an Xbox Live Gold membership in order to use Netflix and Hulu on your system. You only have to have Netflix and Hulu accounts. And I'm like, about time? That was literally like my first reaction. I'm like, why did it take this long to do that? But, you know, it's good that it's there. I think a lot of people are going to be happy about that. And it just kind of makes them a little more kind of comparable to the other platforms. And then after that, they also announced that, I believe, starting in June, there will be a version of the Xbox One available for $400 that does not come with Kinect. This has caused a lot more fighting among various communities online. The reason being because, just like the always online policy, when they were first showcasing the system, Microsoft was saying that the Kinect was crucial to the system. The system was built with Kinect in mind. The system needs the Kinect, which is why they packaged it in, which is why they charged people $500 for it. And so you've got two camps of people. You've got, and I kind of fall into this camp. This one is the, you've changed on so much stuff that I don't know what the system can do. And I don't know what more you're going to change. Because at this point, it's very much shown that whether it's before the system comes out or after, they don't mind changing. And I think that that's for the good in some cases and for the bad in others. I mean, I think it's good that they're not going to make Kinect be required. But I also feel like it just makes me think, what about the features I do like? When do those leave? And that's kind of the thought that kind of permeated in the back of my mind, and that's not good. And I don't purposely try and play like devil's advocate like that. That's just like the natural thought that I get now about the Xbox One, because they've flip-flopped on so many policies at this point that I have no idea what is going to change from now on. Because it's clear that they know that things are wrong, and they're changing. But I feel like in some cases that's really good. In some cases it shows that to people who haven't already bought in, it shows that what you buy may not be what you have a year from now. And that's scary. Like, for a system, for a game, that's not like such a scary thought. For a system, that's kind of a big deal. I'm kind of looking at that like there's no guarantee that I'm going to like the Xbox One a year from now if I buy it today. So there's that side of it, and then I think the other side of it is they've got a lot of people who paid $500, didn't want Kinect, but they really wanted to support Xbox One, and are now like, why did I have to pay $500? You know, why did I have to get a Kinect that I'll never touch? And then I think a lot of developers fall into this camp as well, because I'm sure there were a lot of developers developing with the Kinect in mind that are now thinking to themselves, the problem, of course, with this is when everyone is forced to own a Kinect, you can design with the Kinect in mind, with the idea that you requiring the Kinect for your game isn't going to kind of cause any barriers for the consumer. Now, however, all of those people have to design without the Kinect in mind. They can use the Kinect, but you've got to make it fully playable without the Kinect. Otherwise, you're basically committing like sales suicide, because you are now going to be cutting off a huge portion of the market of Xbox One users who don't have a Kinect. When you started developing your game with the kind of promise from Microsoft that your game would be using Kinect, and that that every Xbox One user would have Kinect available. So, it just comes down to, I guess, kind of that issue there for both fans and developers, and just like everyone basically. Like, it kind of just screws over a lot of people. But, either way, whatever you think about it, it's very obvious that the reason they're doing it is to kind of try and offset the PS4 a little bit. And I think that's because we're seeing still, like, PS4 has almost now doubled the Xbox One sales. That's huge. I know it's early on, and I'm not like a sales analyst or anything, but still, that's pretty big to be that far apart this early on. But we'll see how that goes. I'd love to see in June for them to do really well and them to see a boost in sales, because like I've said before, as much as I love Sony, having sales is never a bad thing for anyone. I want to see more Wii U's sold, I want to see more Xbox Ones sold, and of course I want to see more PS4s sold. I want to see all of it. I think that's kind of the way to go, is success all around is good for everyone. So that's that. I wanted to do kind of a segment. I don't know if this will be a continuing segment, but there are enough of them that it could be, where I talk about some of the Kickstarters that have worked well this week and some that are in dire situations ending soon. So I'm looking at this Super Hot, which, if you've not heard of Super Hot, it was made for the 7-day FPS challenge, where basically you make a first-person shooter in 7 days, similar to like the Ludendare competition. And basically the idea is behind it that you will, like, you control your character. When you're not moving, nothing moves. Enemies don't move, bullets don't move. When you move, that's when enemies and bullets start moving. So you have to like plan your shots. You have to plan to be certain places, because enemies are going to shoot, and you have to make sure you're not going to end up in their path while also trying to hit the enemies. So super, super neat idea. Like, it's pretty unique. I haven't seen really anything else like it. I've yet to cover it on my channel. I'll probably wait now because the full version is coming out. Anyways, they started their Kickstarter up yesterday, so Wednesday, with a goal of $100,000, and they hit it in like 14 hours. They're now sitting at like $129,000 right now. Let me look at their stretch goals. 120 was better animations, because they were going to hire an additional 3D animator. 150 is a speedrun mode, and then 200 is a replay mode, which is kind of cool. So it would let you replay the kind of what happened. Yeah, definitely check it out though. It's super cool. There's some really good like press quotes here, and I won't linger on this too long, but Cliff Bleszinski, of course, designer of Unreal and the Gears of War series, of course in his picture he's holding a chainsaw gun. He says, "Super Hot has one of the most innovative features I've ever seen in an FPS and deserves all the monies." I agree with that. Wired says, "Like you're playing through Quentin Tarantino's version of the Mad Men opening credits." Yeah, that's pretty true. If you haven't seen the visuals, go check it out. Oh shit, there's like a sword mode. He just cut a bullet in half. That's really cool. This game is going to be sweet. So yeah, definitely check it out. It looks really cool. I'm excited for it. Let's see what else. Let me see if I can go like Heart. Yep, Heartforth Alicia, which is actually the only game that I've ever kickstarted. Only thing at all that I've ever kickstarted is ending in, as I record this, 49 minutes with their original goal of $60,000. They are now at $230,000, so if I go to their stretch goals, it's pretty nuts. New Game Plus, Challenge Dungeons, PlayStation 4, OS X and Linux, music by Manami Matsume, who of course did Mega Man, Secret Zone, PlayStation Vita, real original soundtrack instruments, Nintendo Wii U, and then it looks like they just hit the remix album, and if they can get another 15,000 in the next hour, they'll get it on 3DS as well. So, I mean, they just had like tons of stretch goals. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they've hit 10 stretch goals. That is nuts. This game has been like really popular, and I like that. It looks really good. I'm excited for it. So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad to see them doing so well. Okay, and then I know that there's some ones that are maybe not doing super well. This is an interesting one, and I know it caused a lot of kind of interesting discussion. The Amplitude Kickstarter from Harmonix. They originally asked for $775,000. Big goal, but realistic, I think, especially coming from Harmonix. They know what they're doing. I trust them to know how much making a game like this costs, especially because they've made this kind of game before. They have a week to go as of recording this, and they are sitting at $268,000. So not even close right now, unfortunately. I think a lot of the issue, well, there's multiple issues here. One, I think, is that it's only for PS4 and PS3, and I think it's because Sony owns the IP, which makes sense, but that also cuts out a lot of your potential Kickstarters. And then the other issue is I've heard a lot of people saying, why does Harmonix need this much money? Why do they need money at all? And I think that's unfortunate, because it's not like them making Rock Band set them up with money for life. You know, they don't have any more money, they don't have any more money. That's all there is to it. So, you know, it's interesting, I guess. It's unfortunate to see that it probably won't hit its goal, but maybe it will. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. There are a couple more I want to talk about real quick, and they are a couple that I've covered. Well, one video is yet to come out. It'll be coming out on Monday. But the first is Exogenesis Perils of Rebirth, which I did a video on. You can search for that on my channel if you would like. It's a visual novel coming out. They had their original goal of 32,000. They have 6 days to go, and they are like just shy of 29,500. So I really think they're gonna make it, and I really want to see them make it. You know, it's a cool looking game. It looks really good, and I hope that they make it. And I mean, that's kind of all I've got to say about that. It's close, but I think a lot of times with Kickstarters, your biggest weeks are the first one and the last one, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them pull through in the end. And I think maybe I'll talk about one more. I'll talk about this one that's coming up on Monday. And this is actually one that has just started. Yeah, it's got 20 days to go. It is Zenzizenzik, and you'll get to see me in my video try and pronounce that for fun. Yeah, with a goal of 2,000 euros. Pretty humble goal. It's a small goal, but I played the game. It plays awesome. There's a reason that there's a small goal. They're just finishing it up. And they are at 13.29 euros, so pretty good. I guess about, what, 2/3 of the way there or so. So that's cool. I think it'll make it, but I do encourage you to check that out. And I think that'll be all the Kickstarter stuff that I cover. Now for some newer news. And the reason for this is I just didn't have a ton of time to go pick stuff out, so I'm just looking at like the R games. There were a couple things that I wanted to talk about. So let me just find these. I should say real quick on a sales front, Humble Bundle is doing a different. First of all, in like through the 21st, so there's still a few more days. They're doing daily sales every day, and some of these games are on sale for like the best price yet. So they're being very competitive with Steam. Besides, they're doing a different bundle every day for like the next 2 weeks, which is nuts. They're smaller bundles for the most part, or bundles that have been done before, but still a lot of cool stuff. So let's see. The Sims 4 was showed off. I didn't check out the trailer, but it's out there for people who are excited about Sims. Yeah, we talked about Mario Kart 8. Let's see. Oh, one thing that I wanted to talk about. News came out that Watch Dogs would not be running at 60 frames per second 1080p on consoles. That's unfortunate. Again, I'm never like really a graphics snob or a revolution. I'm a revolution snob. No, a resolution snob or anything like that. But still, it's really unfortunate to keep hearing that like every game that comes out, they're like, here, it's going to run at 60 frames per second 1080p for Xbox One and PS4. And then like a month before release, it's like, oh wait, just kidding. No, it's not anymore. We can't do it. So that's unfortunate to hear it again. Let's see. Oh, Monument Valley's out on Android. If you don't own an iPad and haven't played Monument Valley, go pick it up for Android. It's really good. Super Time Force came out on Xbox 360 and Xbox One. It's supposed to be really good. I don't have either system, so can't really speak for that. Let's see. Oh yeah, Valve has started tagging reviews as early access if it's for an early access game. So that's something, I guess. I've got some bigger news coming that I wanted to discuss for a bit, so I was kind of just going through some quick fire kind of news here. So yeah, like I said, yeah, Watch Dogs will run at 900p on PS4 and 792p on Xbox One, both at 30 frames per second. What the hell is that? That's like, let's do everything we can to make this not 720, because people are gonna, like burn us at the stake if it's only 720. 792p? I've never even heard of that. That's not like a normal. I've kind of heard of 900, not much. 900's not that popular. Wow. Man, okay. That's interesting. Oh yeah, the guy who made Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird's coming back with multiplayer? Sure. I love the Flappy Bird guy. I don't like that game, but I like the guy. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's nice. It's unfortunate that he got so much flack. I don't think he deserved it. Oh, this is an interesting thing to talk about. Watch Dogs has 9 special editions. I was looking at this list on Wikipedia. You can look at the Watch Dogs special edition list. You'd have to buy the game 9 times to get all the content that's on there. And I know for a fact that shit is like on-disc DLC that's just blocked by whether or not you have the stupid code. That's nuts. That is so insane. Like, what happened to just paying $60 and getting a full experience? Like, I don't care if it's just a costume. Why should I have to pre-order it at GameStop and Best Buy if I want to get 2 different costumes? That's so dumb. Man, it is really, really silly. I think it's really silly. It feels like microtransactions in like a full $60 game. Like, I understand to some extent why there are why there are microtransactions for like smaller games. I don't think $60 games should have DLC that's just like costumes and stuff like that. Man, that's just silly. I don't know if maybe people would like to weigh in on that whole deal. I don't like it. Let's see. I'm gonna get a drink here real quick, actually. Alright, I'm back. Okay. This is cool. Talking about hashtag Mike Bithell again. He did a little blog post about why he will never do early access. He kind of posted some things here. First of all, he said I'm not a good enough programmer. I'm just gonna read like the bold points for the most part. He said Notch did far too good a job of this because, of course, in early access, people expect very frequent updates. Notch has done really good about that. They used to be weekly. They might still be. I don't like selling incomplete products. Yes, thank you. Like, I feel like in most cases, most of the things on early access shouldn't be on early access. I don't want to design for everyone. That's a big one. I think a big example of that is Don't Starve. Don't Starve has turned into a very different game because they took so much influence from fans during alpha and beta that it's almost entirely different from the original vision, and I think a lot of times that can happen. Then he says, I want players to know what they are buying. That's also very fair. He says, mid-dev flops scare me. Yeah, for sure. Like, the sad thing is there are a lot of games that have been coming out. I know Sir You Are Being Hunted has been the newest example. Their biggest sales day was not the day it came out officially. It was sometime before that when it was on sale during early access. That's scary, like, because you expect kind of the day that you release on Steam to be your biggest sales day, and that's scary if it's not, because then you're like, okay, that's it. Like, it never goes up from here, most likely. And then he says, I like to finish developing games. Yeah, I like that too. I like knowing when a game is done. I'm kind of, we talked about this a lot last week with Towns. Like, the problem with early access is then the dev has full control over when they say the game is done, and that can be really scary. So that's kind of a, just kind of a cool little thing to see. I really like Mike Bithell. Again, like I said, if you haven't played Thomas Was Alone, check it out. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, maybe that's okay. So yeah, let's move on to some of the bigger stuff. I'll pick up some more short stories at the end if there's still a little more time. Big news for today: Far Cry 4: Welcome to Kyrat was announced for November 18th, and I think that they did this to offset the fact that they also announced today The Division for PC, Xbox One, and PS4 was delayed back to 2015. That's a pretty big delay, depending on when in 2015, because it was supposed to come out like late 2014, so yeah, pretty big hit there. But cool. I know I didn't play Far Cry 3 much. I played Blood Dragon. I loved Blood Dragon. That game was cool. But I know a lot of people really liked Far Cry 3, so that's cool. Keep it going, I guess. What else do we have here? There is, like, not a ton of news. Maybe. I mean, I don't have numbers pulled up because I forgot to pull up these articles, but I know, let's see, Ubisoft is down, I think, by 20% sales over last year. That's kind of a big deal because, they make a lot of really big franchises, and they're one of the big publishers left. So for them to be down that much is pretty big. And also I think Square Enix is up like 15% or something like that from last year, which is really cool because they're doing a lot of cool stuff as well. They've put out a lot of kind of different games. They did, Tomb Raider and Hitman last year, I think. So it's nice to see that is paid back for them. I was a bit surprised, though, about hearing that Ubisoft is not doing as well, just because that's interesting. Also, again, I don't have it in front of me, but like the top selling games on disc this week. I think the standout ones, first of all, it was like nothing from April, barely. The standout ones, I think Titanfall is still number one, which is cool. People are buying it a ton on disc. Apparently on 360. They don't have a ton of Xbox One users. And these are only disc releases. This is not counting in digital stuff. Minecraft is number 4. Minecraft on disc was the best-selling, like the 4th best-selling game this month, not this week, I think. That's nuts. It was either this week or this month, but that's nuts to me. Like, Minecraft will not stop selling. It's insane. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. But, I don't know. That's really wild. I know Sunset Overdrive has been showing off a lot of stuff. I haven't really been following it because I don't have an Xbox One, and I'm not going to get it just for Sunset Overdrive. Unfortunately, I'd love to. I'd love to pick it up, but I'm not going to pick up. I'm not going to pick up a console just for one game. Oh, that's big. Yeah, the International 4. I believe the North American qualifiers are going on right now. Dota 2, of course. I don't follow much Dota 2, but I like watching the end of the International. I normally watch the final match and go, oh, this is so cool. I don't know what's going on. But I know last year the prize was like 1.6 million, I think, for like the total. It's now past 5 million this year already, because what they do is they sell the compendium, and it's like $10, I think, and $2.50 of every compendium sold gets added to the prize pool. So as of right now, first place is set to be a prize of like $2.5 million, which is nuts. That is so insane to me. But they're getting a lot of flack right now because as it stands right now, the way it is set up is 9th through 16th place will get nothing still, just like last year. And they do have like 2.5 months before the actual international happens. And I personally, I'd like to see this change. I know that it might not, but I feel like with that big of a prize pool, spread it around a little, at least give like 9th through 16th place something. Because, with 5-man teams, that's still like 40 people that have to make a living somehow. So it'd be nice, I guess, to see that prize money spread about a little bit. But I know there are a lot of people that are also against that and saying it's competition, like if you can't cut it, you don't deserve it. But I don't know. I guess that's kind of a point of contention on that. Don't Starve multiplayer is coming this summer. That'll be cool. There wasn't as big big news, I guess, is what I'm saying this week. Not really as much kind of stuff to talk in depth about. It's more been a lot of like little things, like I've been saying, which is cool. That's cool too. I like talking about this kind of stuff. Just kind of this like shotgun the news stuff that is maybe not quite as worth maybe discussing in length. Ooh, I need to open that up for me. Apparently, PAX Prime was announced to be August 29th to September 1st. Oh, it's only 105 days, because I need to try and get tickets this year. I want to go to PAX. That would be cool. I could maybe do some fun stuff with coverage while at PAX. We'll see. That could be really neat. But PAX Prime is in Seattle. That's like a 4-hour drive from where I'm at. So if I could get in on some tickets, that could be cool. I guess I should also say, just to be, again, kind of try and show no bias here, I believe Sony as a company posted like $1.1 billion losses. I know there's been a lot of arguments about this among game people because, oh, PlayStation's going down even with the good sales. No, this is not PlayStation, this is Sony. This is like all of Sony's stuff together, all the TV, all the computer stuff, all of that. And the reason is, of course, they're still restructuring. I guess if I was going to give my opinion on it, I would still say that by far Nintendo is in the worst place between the two. I understand that, yeah, those are some big losses, but compared to the losses in 2011, Sony is still moving up, and that's what we want to see. Nintendo, however, is wildly moving down from about the same time. So, it's all a matter of projections, I guess. And besides that, we've got Sony is again not just games, so it wouldn't even be like them kind of losing that much money doesn't really say anything about the games, whereas Nintendo is games. So it's like, obviously their games is not doing well. So so that is kind of that situation. I guess at this point we'll kind of wrap up with some more stuff, just kind of about me, I guess. Weird to say it like that. No, but I'm gonna pull up Steam. Oh no, there was another thing. Already in 2014, there's been more games released on Steam than all of 2013. So this really is just kind of driving home the problem that I've been bringing up. Something like, on average, 7 games a day now on Steam this year. That's insane. First of all, from like a press perspective, there's no way I can cover even a fraction of everything. So, that it's just unreasonable. And again, it's still just the same problems. Like, I'm looking, oh my god, like, I pull it up. The first 5 games are Freddy Fish 3, Pajama Sam 3, Spy Fox 3, Putt Putt Travels Through Time, and Putt Putt and Fatty Bear's Activity Pack. What are these and why are they on Steam? That, I just gotta ask that question again. I mean, what is today? The 15th, so I'm gonna pull up like how many games were released today. So oh my god. Okay, so 19 on the new releases. Let me head to early access because I'm sure there were some early access games out today. 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 games released on Steam today. That is insane. That's like, oh my god, that's so insane. There's no way to keep up with any of it. It's too much. It really is. It's just too much at this point. And then let's see, I should talk about the games coming up. Let's see. Oh, tomorrow I've got videos on 100% Orange Juice as well as Dark Scavenger, both out on Steam tomorrow. Check out the reviews. It looks like Frederick Resurrection of Music is also out. Cosmic DJ's out. Cosmic DJ's really cool. That's a good game. Retro Game Crunch is coming to Steam on the 19th. Check that out. I did a video on that a while ago. My biggest game this week coming, of course, is Transistor. I'm dying to get Transistor. So there's that, and in a close second is Always Sometimes Monsters, which I've got a video of that out in a couple days. That is really good. It's super good. But yeah, I'd say those are my big picks for the next week to look out for. And then after that, I typically talk about a little bit of like what I've been doing, what I've been playing. And as far as like what I've been playing, let's see, I just recorded a video on Ascendant, which is like a new kind of side-scrolling roguelike. It's really good. It came out a couple days ago, I think on Tuesday on Steam. And like I said, it's really, really good. I'm having a good time with that. It does a lot of things differently from a lot of roguelikes. And it might be my favorite roguelike release this year, with, like one new roguelike coming out a day on Steam. So there's that. That's really cool. Like I said I guess I haven't said in this video, I've been playing Persona 1. I bought it while it's on sale. It's good. That's pretty cool too. Old game, but I'm liking it. And I've also been playing a ton of Hatsune Miku Project Diva still. Project Diva F, actually, for Vita. Having a good time with that. I wasn't kidding earlier when I said I'm really excited for the second one. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing. And let's see. I'm going through the news one more time. There might not really be much else to talk about. I know. Valve has been contacted about, like, if they plan on doing anything to fix the storefront, and they have not responded. Last I saw, they're just like not saying a word. That's kind of crazy. Oh, here we go. Here's the actual article from Gamasutra about more games have released on Steam so far in 2012 than all of last year. So let's see. Let's see here. I mean, the big thing is, like I said last episode, is it just means that getting on Steam means less and less now. It used to be a pretty big deal, both for developers and consumers, because for developers it used to mean like your game is going to do pretty well. And for consumers, it used to be like, if I go on Steam, I can kind of rely on what I'm picking up to be pretty good. Apparently, Valve has said that it plans to get rid of Greenlight. That would be nice. I think might as well, because at this point, everything gets through Greenlight eventually. Let's see. Oh yeah, this chart is like nuts. And the big growth kind of started, it looks like, in about July last year, reaching a peak of like 100 and maybe 15-ish releases in October on Steam. In April, there were just shy of 200. So that's kind of crazy. Like I said, it's nuts. And I think, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. First of all, it comes down to the fact that it's not that hard to get onto Steam anymore. I know, people still struggle with their green lights and stuff, but a lot of times when I see people complaining on Twitter, like, why isn't my game greenlit? Why is it taking so long? I look at it and I go, because it's basically a Minecraft clone. Or I look at it and I go, because it looks bad. Like, in a market now where almost any game can get greenlit, if your game's not getting greenlit, it kind of means you're doing something wrong. Not to kind of, call out any devs or anything, but that seems like kind of what's going on with that. But, because of that, and because so many games are getting greenlit, by the way, another 75 games got greenlit yesterday. So, we're just seeing these days now with so many games coming on Steam. It's nuts. And then the other thing behind it, I think, is that it's become much easier to make your own games. And, we've seen the same thing with film. In a way, we see the film thing coming out in YouTube. Like, we look at, like, even my content, for example. My content is not that high quality. And the only thing I had to pay for, really, to get into this was, I had my computer already, and then I paid like $40 for my headset. And I could start making videos. And that's it. That's all it takes. And we're seeing basically the same thing with Steam, with games now. It's not, like, that hard. Well, it's hard to make a game, but it's not that hard to get started. There's not kind of that barrier anymore. basically anyone can make a game from their house. So, you know, I guess that all kind of comes into it. But, yeah, I mean, it looks like we're about to hit the hour mark. Sorry, this was not quite as structured. It was more of a shotgun, just kind of talk about all these little bits of news. But that's what this week was. You know, it all kind of plays on what the happenings of the week were. And this week was a very kind of little pieces of news here and there kind of week. But, yeah, that's where we're going to wrap up another episode of the IndieGeek Vlogcast. Ooh, that's the title I went with. Hope you like it. Yeah, but that's where we're going to end up. So, you know, again, like I said last week, this is perfect for conversation in the chat. If you would like to leave comments, that's totally cool, because I'd love to hear other people's opinions on all of this stuff. You know, I'm interested in hearing more opinions. I've really only got my own opinions, so love to hear kind of other viewpoints on it. Or, you know, just whatever thoughts you have. It doesn't have to be only if you've got a different viewpoint. You can even just tell me that you agree. Either way. But yeah, that's where we're going to wrap up. So yeah, like I said, feel free to comment. Subscribe, you know, if you like this. I'm only doing this once a week, but I do tons of other content on the channel every single day. So if, you know, if you like my viewpoints, if you like the things I talked about, those are pretty standard for kind of the other things that I talk about on the channel. So yeah, do feel free to click the subscribe button. And then, of course, if you like the IndieGeek, I can't say it, the IndieGeek Vlogcast, what a weird set of words to say, then do please consider clicking the like button, because that helps out a lot. But that is where I will end this. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.